Right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our session on study unit 7 of the Greek study guide of UNISA. It's on page 124, 125. But maybe we should go to the Lord's Prayer at the end of the session, because as I said a moment ago, in study unit 7, there's a lot of information about personal pronouns and possessive pronouns that will help you understand a lot better what's going on in the Lord's Prayer. So let's go to page 125. All right, help me, Usmatari, what is a pronoun? How is it different from a noun or an adjective or a verb for that matter? What is a pronoun? Give me an example of a pronoun.
Pronoun. It is used to eliminate unnecessary repetition of nouns.
Yeah. So don't look at the material now. Just for yourself. You can't recall what a pronoun refers to.
No, I can't recall.
No problem. Ratabo, do you know generally from having studied maybe English or Sesotho or some language at school or at varsity what a pronoun refers to?
By looking at the word itself, pronoun, it means it's something that comes before the noun, or it's something that replaces the normal noun. I'm not sure.
Yeah, not come before the noun, but replacing the noun. So if you say, let me tell you a little bit of, let me not be autobiographical. If you say, the man eats the man's bread before the man goes to sleep on the man's bed, you are repeating the man unnecessarily. You can say, the man eats his bread before he goes to sleep on his bed. Now that his, that's a pronoun. It's a personal, it's a word referring to a person or a thing for that matter, but that replaces unnecessary repetition of a noun in a sentence. But to do that, you have to be gendered. You have to say the man eats his bread. You can't say the man eats her bread. Now, in African languages, those pronouns are not gender specific, but in Greek, as in English and other languages, they are. So that makes it quite complicated because there's masculine, feminine, and neuter nouns, as you know, but also pronouns. So on page 125, the man has asked the girl whether the man could borrow the girl's book. We don't speak like that normally. We say the man asked the girl whether he could borrow her book. So he and her are pronouns. Now, there are 6 different types of pronouns in Greek. Personal, I, me, you, her, we, us, ours, theirs, yours, and then demonstrative, this, that, and then relative pronouns. We'll get to that. Possessive pronouns, reflexive pronouns, yourself or one another, and reciprocal pronouns. So let's go to the personal one. Again, there's singular and plural. In English, it's I, first person singular. First person plural is we. Second person singular, you. Second person plural, you. He, she, it is the third person singular, and they, third person plural. Now in English, you can see also the nominative and the accusative still. I see him, not I see he. He is a nominative. Him is an accusative. He sees me, not him sees me. He is the nominative. Me is not the nominative. Me is the accusative. He sees me. So in English also, you can, in the pronouns, you can see whether it's a nominative or accusative. can also see what the gender is. He sees her. He sees, but them and you can't in English see the gender, just discern the gender just from the word, but in Greek you can. All right, so on page 126 then, ego is I, the nominative. The accusative is eme or me. The genitive is emu or mu. Dative emoi or moi. So emoi will be for me. Emu or mu is of me, that is mine. And eme is me as the accusative. Then the plural, hemes, is us. No, it's we, because that's the nominative. Hemas is us, that's the accusative. Hemon is our, that's the genitive, that's the possessive. And hemen is for us or to us. So eme, emu, and emoi are used in two instances. Number one, when the pronoun in the relevant case is emphasized. For anthropos, blepe eme, the man sees me, not him or her, but me. You're emphasizing it, then you use not me, but eme. And after a preposition, peri, where the genitive means concerning or about, peri emu, concerning me. Then it won't be peri mu. After the preposition, it's always emu, or if it takes the accusative, it will be eme, etc., or emoi, if it's the dative. So that's the first person, singular and plural. The second person is you, singular is su, nominative, se, accusative, su, genitive, soi, dative. So you remember in the Lord's Prayer, Eltheto he basileia su, that's the genitive singular, the kingdom of you. Now that's your kingdom. Then the plural, humes, humas, himon, himen. Himen is the dative. Give us dos himen, give us today, ton arton to epiusion. So that's give the dative plural for you. Sorry, that's the second person. I'm on the wrong page. But okay, so soi and su are used when the pronoun is emphasized. For anthropos, blepe se, the man sees you, and also after preposition, peri su. The third person, he, she, it, is autos, aute, auto, auton, auten, auto, autu, autes, autu, auto. This is now on page 127. Plural, autoi, meaning them. Plural, male, masculine. Autai is the plural, feminine. Auta is the plural for those things. Autus is the accusative, and autas, auton, 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 autois, autais, autois. So that's he or she, it in the singular, and they in the plural. They masculine, feminine, and they, those things, in the neuter. Now the citation form, I think that's important on page 127, just to look at that expression. The first asterisk after the table on autos. When you are parsing a pronoun, a pronoun always has a threefold citation form. The citation form, who can work out? Zanele, do you know what this refers to? The word citation form. Have you got an idea? It refers to the form in which the word is cited in a dictionary or in the word list. So if you go to the word list for a moment, let's go to the back of the study guide. To the word he. If we go on page 180, 5 words from the bottom of page 180, he, she, it. Then what you see on the right-hand side in the Greek is the citation form of that pronoun. And it's autos, comma, hyphen e, comma, hyphen o. And that means it's autos, aute, auto. So the citation form is the way in which a particular word, a verb or a noun or a pronoun is cited or mentioned in a word list like this, or even in a dictionary, a Greek lexicon, a Greek dictionary. So when you are parsing and you are asked to parse the word autois, then you'll say it's a third person plural dative of autos, aute, auto. You won't just say of autos, because autos by itself doesn't exist. That's not the way to cite it. When you are parsing, you must cite autos, comma, e, comma, o. That's just a little bit of background information on what that citation form actually means. Okay, so back to page 127. I hope that makes sense. So it's a threefold citation form. Now, the gender, back on page 127, the gender of autos, aute, auto corresponds to the grammatical gender of the noun to which it refers. So, Twala, can you read that sentence for us there, that e.g. in Greek? That one, the Lord saves the church. Maybe we can all put on our microphones, and unless there's a lot of background noise in your home, then we don't take time switching on and off. Read that one, the Lord saves the church. Read that one for us in Greek, please.
You.
Okay, take it slowly. It starts with an omicron. And how do you pronounce that?
Ho.
Ho, that's right, ho. Ho, that's the definite article for the, for a masculine noun, the, okay. And then?
This is the Lord. Yes, and this was in the last assignment. Damn it.
But that's all right, just work it out. There's a k, there's a kappa, k, u,
Yes.
ro, k, u, r, I, o, s. Kurios. O kurios. Okay, and then?
Oh, let me get my thing. Lost my page now. Where I wrote this first.
Okay, it's sigma. It starts with the S. Then omega. So it's so. And then a sa. So say.
Yeah, I lost my page where I wrote all my
letters.
My A's. I put them nicely. I can't find it now because I used to go to them.
It's in the beginning. In the beginning of the study guide, they've got the table. But okay, so let Zanelli, are you with us? Do you want to read that for us? Sometimes he has other things to do and puts the recording on. So, Zanele, are you there? Okay, so let me read. Ho kurios soutse ten ecclesian kai phulasse auten. Ho kurios is the Lord. Soutse, he saves. So the Lord saves. And ho kurios is in the nominative. That's why it's kurios. Ten ecclesian as accusative. So that's the direct object of the verb. The Lord saves the church. Kai and phulasse, he protects, he guards. Auten. Auten is it. But we translate it in English as it, but literally in Greek, and he saves, he protects her. Why auten? Why feminine? Usmatadi, you back? We're on page 127. We're doing that sentence. The Lord saves the church and he guards it. But in Greek, it doesn't say it, it says her. Why her? Because ecclesia, church, is a feminine noun in Greek. And therefore, when you now use a pronoun to replace that noun, it must agree with the noun that it replaces in gender and in number. All right. So now there's a long sentence there at the bottom in that block on page 127. Ms. Matari, are you willing to try and read that long sentence there for us? Under 7.1.3, that example. Do you want to try? Matadi, do you want to try?
Let me see if I can try.
Yeah, do it
Oi.
slowly.
Oi,
And not oi, it's hoi.
oi.
Can you see that breathing mark points to the right? So it's hoi.
Okay. Ma.
A th, that's a theta. Mathetai.
Mathetai. Of
Two.
toof. Ietsu.
Yesu. Now that's Jesus. Yesu.
Abba.
You're right. Eba. Then it's a D. D.
Ebada. Ebadu.
Ebaditson.
Beditson.
Yeah.
Bir. It's P. Piras.
No. You see, you don't pronounce the P as P. Pronounce it just as a P. The name of the letter is P, or pi, but the letter just sounds like a P. So it's P, R, O, S, pros. Pros. Okay?
Yes. Anutov.
No, it's not a tof. That V, what looks like a V at the end of the word is an N. That's the nu. And O is the diphthong, remember? It's two vowels sounding together. So it's auton.
Auton.
Auton. Okay.
Auton.
Oh, okay. Let me not put you under further pressure. Let me read. O de Jesus epen autois. Let me read that again. O de Jesus epen autois ego eimi hodos kai aletheia kai zoe humeis paidia tu theu di emu epen auto o Philippos oti kurie deixeis hemen auton question mark tote epen o Jesus eblepsate ta erga mu bestoi sete di auta question mark. Okay. Hoi mathetai, you know what that means? Rituala? The translation is there, so it's a giveaway. It means the disciples. To Yesu, that's the genitive of ho Jesus, and the genitive means of Jesus. So the disciples of Jesus, ebaditson, baditso is to walk, to go. This is an imperfect third person singular. No, sorry, third person plural. They, ebaditson, they, the imperfect expresses duration in the past. They were walking. Pros, auton. Pros, remember, is a preposition taking the accusative. Pros auton means towards him. Auton is him, accusative after the preposition pros. Hode, now the de means but. Hode Jesus, but Jesus, epen, said, it's the aorist of Lego, autois. You can see that's the dative, plural, masculine, for them or to them. So Jesus said to them, ego, Amy, I am. See, when you, Amy alone would already say I am. But when you write ego, Amy, then you're emphasizing I, not anyone else. I am, hodos, a way, a road, kai aletheia, and truth, kai zoe, and life. Humeis, you, plural, nominative. Paidia tu theu. Paidion is a child. Paidia is it's a neuter noun. Paidia, you, children tu theu of God. Di emu. Dia is a preposition with a genitive meaning through. And emu is the personal pronoun in the genitive for me, through me. You are children of God through me. Epen, auto, or Philippos. Or Philippos is the nominative, so that's the subject. Philip said, epen, auto, dative singular, masculine, of the pronoun. to him. Philip said to him, Oti, it's like a colon, Kyrie. Kyrie is the vocative of Kyrios, meaning Lord. Dake says, you will show, you haven't had that verb yet, Daiknumi, you will show him to us, the dative plural of ego, to us, auton. You will show auton, him, you will show him to us. Tote, then, sorry, it's a question mark. Will you show him to us? Tote, then, epen, or Jesus, then Jesus said, Eblepsate, you saw, that's the aorist, second person plural, you saw, of blepo, ta erga mu. Ergon is work, neuter. Ta erga is the plural, accusative plural of ergon. The works, mu, of me. You saw my works. Pistoisete, you will believe. Di, auta, dia, with the accusative, meaning because of. Will you believe? Yeah, but it's a question mark. Can you see at the end? Will you believe because of me, because of them? Auta is that refers to erga. You saw my works. Will you believe because of them? All right. So that's to show how these personal pronouns play a big role in almost every sentence, if not every sentence of the New Testament. There's a I or a me or a you or a him or a them or they or us. So it's extremely important to understand these personal pronouns. Now on the next page, page 128, it shows you how to parse and explain each one of those pronouns. So I'm not going to read them one by one. You'll have to check carefully what is expected of you, how to parse a pronoun, a personal pronoun. Okay, so maybe we can just go to page 129 and look at 7.1.5. A, parse and explain the underlined words and then translate the sentences. Zanele, are you with us now? Not yet. Okay. Tuala, do you want to? Yeah, you're struggling a little bit with the pronunciation. So, Usmatadi, do you want to try A? 7.1.5A on page 129.
It's ego.
Yeah. E starts with an E.
Epe.
Epe.
Epem.
Epim.
Epem.
Psa.
Oh, epem. Yes.
Epempsa. That's a psi. Epempsa.
Epemsa.
Yeah.
Ento. Yeah. Entos.
Almost, but it's O. That's the diphthong again, that O that we also had just now. Autus.
Autus. Yes.
Autus. Yeah.
Omin.
Not or, human. It's a breathing mark, shows her, human, human.
Human.
Ego, epempsa, autus, human. So ego is easy, that means I, isn't it? So let's first translate it. Epempsa, anybody remember what pempo, the verb pempo means? Pempo is to send. So epempsa, the augment at the beginning of the verb shows you it's a past tense, a historic tense. In this case, it's the aorist, epempsa. I sent autus. What case is autus? This is now the personal pronoun. Is it nominative, genitive, dative, accusative? Autus. It's accusative, plural, masculine, like logus. So it's the object, the direct object of the verb, send. So I is the subject, pempo is the verb, autus is the direct object, I sent them. Human, that's a dative plural of ego, second person. So it's the dative plural of su, meaning in the dative meaning for or to you. I sent them to you. All right.
Yes.
B. Ho. Remember when an omicron stands on its own like that, you know it's not o. It's always ho, because it's the article, the definite article for the, going with a masculine noun. Ho didaskalos. Didaskalos is a teacher. It's a masculine noun. You can see it because it ends on os in the nominative. Ho didaskalos, su. Now su is the genitive singular of su, of you, the teacher of you. In other words, your teacher. Muritishi wahai, wahau, Muritishi wahau. So wahau is here, su, of you. Your teacher, didaske, that's the verb, and it's in the present tense, and it's third person singular. He teaches, didasko is to teach. Your teacher, he teaches, ta tekna, accusative, plural. To teknon is a child. Ta tekna is the children. Auton of them, their children. Didaskalos, the teacher, of your teacher. Didaske, teaches or is teaching. Ta tekna auton, their children. The C, any questions? Just jump in at any time if you have a question. So, Matari, you want to try C to read that? Here, meis.
No.
Here, meis.
Su.
Yeah.
Si.
That's not a psi, that's a f. The psi and the f look very similar, but the little circle is closed with a line through it, then it's a f. Sofo,
Sofo. Terai.
aha, brilliant. Sofoterai. And then?
Ani Toy. Antoi.
Not quite. It's au. That's diphthong again. Au. And then t, au, t, and then omega and nun. Autone.
Tone.
Autone. And then there's a pause. Can you see a sort of a semicolon, that dot, which is not on the bottom line, but so you stop there. And then the next part of the sentence, there's the f again.
Fellow. What is this? Fellow. Noi.
No, yeah, that sigma looks a lot like an O, but that's an S. It's fi, lu, sin. Sin. Filusin, or filusi, sorry, filusi, which could also be filusin. And then the last two words. It's another diphthong, u. So it's un. And then hemas. Hemes. Sophoterai auton. Filusi un hemas. Hemes is the nominative of us. In other words, it means we. We are, and there's no verb in that first three, in the first phrase, that first three words of that sentence. We are sophoterai auton. So sophos means wise. Sophoteros, we did a few chapters back, means it's the comparative degree of comparison. It means more clever, wiser. And then sophota is the wisest. That's the third degree of comparison. Wise, wiser, wisest. You remember? Now, wiser is this one, sophoterai. And you can see it's not sophoteroi, so it refers to women. We, so it's women speaking here. We, sophoterai, we are wiser, auton, than them. Autos, aute, auto, it means they. He, on plural, it's they. So we women are wiser than them. Pause. Filusi un hemas. Un means therefore. It's a conjunction that links two sentences together. Therefore, filusi, third person plural of the verb phileo, to like or to love even. Hemas, at the end of the sentence, that's the accusative, meaning us. That is therefore un, filusi, they love or they like us. We are wiser than them, therefore they like us. In other words, we can teach them and they trust us. Often it's not true that men like women because they are wiser, hey? But this sentence actually does risk saying that, and it's true. 7.1.6, that's an exercise that we're not going to do now. Let's move on to demonstrative pronouns. A demonstrative pronoun is a pronoun that points. It points to. So it is this or that, this one or that one. So ekainos on page 130 Ekainos, ekaine, ekaino is that one. Hode, hede, tode is this one. And hutos, haute, tuto is also, can mean this or that, but it points, it shows in a direction. So in practice, hutos occurs much more often than the other two. So the declensions then, 7.2.1, ekainos, ekainon, ekainu, ekaino. That's very predictable. We've seen that many times with, it's like logos, the noun. The feminine is ekaine, ekainen, ekaines, ekaine. Also very predictable, like arche. And the neuter is ekaino, ekaino, ekainu, ekaino. That's a little bit strange. We expect ekainon, but in this demonstrative pronoun, it is ekaino. But the plural is very predictable. Oi, us, own, ois, I, us, own, eyes, just like the nouns. Now, ekainos, the next one is hode, hede, tode, meaning this. And then you see the forms also exactly like logos and arche and the nouns in masculine, feminine, or neuter. Now on page 131, the other demonstrative is hutos, the one that is used most frequently. Haute and tuto. Hutos, tuton, tutu, tuto is the masculine singular. Plural, hutoi, tutus, tuton, tutois. Now, when you are parsing and you have to explain on page 131, that block, since the stem of this pronoun changes according to gender, you should always write its threefold citation in full. You can't just write like autos, comma, comma, on, or o. You must write hutos, haute, tuto, when you are giving the parsing for this pronoun. So how do you use these demonstrative pronouns, 722 on page 131? It's never accompanied by the article. The article stands with a noun, not with the pronoun. So at the bottom of page 131, that disciple is ekainos ho mathetes or ho mathetes ekainos. That mathetes is disciple, ekainos is that, pointing at that disciple. So then it's ho mathetes ekainos, or this disciple is hutos ho mathetes or ho mathetes hutos. You can use both of those word orders. That means this disciple or that disciple. Now, it can also be used on page 132 in a substantival way. When you say ekainos, it simply means that man, that person, that man, because it's masculine. When you say hede, it means this woman. When you say tuto, it's this thing. You don't have to put the word thing or woman or man. This demonstrative pronoun can be used as a substantive, as a noun. Okay, so there are those examples. Let me just read them slowly for you so that you can hear the sound and just develop your reading skills a bit. On page 132, those examples. Ho, Jesus, tus, mathetas, apestelen, hutoi de ekeruxan to euangelion. Jesus is Jesus is the nominative. Tus mathetas, you can see, is the accusative plural. So that's the object of the verb. The verb apestelen is an aorist, third person singular of apostello, to send. Jesus sent τους μαθέτας, the disciples. Pause. Hutoi, they, those ones, sorry, these ones. De, but, they, ekeruxan, from keruso, to preach, to proclaim. They proclaimed to euangelion, accusative, singular, so it's the object of the verb keruso. They proclaimed the gospel. Euangelion is gospel. Number 2, he ecclesia uk esten ergon tu cosmu al ekene doron tu curiu esten. Ecclesia, the church, in the nominative. Uk esten is not. Uk is the negative. U or uk or uch. Uk and esten is he is or she is or it is not. Ergon, that's a work. Tu cosmu. Tu cosmu is the genitive singular of cosmos, meaning of the world, is not a work of the world. Allah, meaning but the A drops away in front of the vowel, ekene, but that gift, doron is gift, but that, in other words, referring to the church, that thing is esten at the end. It is, she is. Doron, a gift. To kuriu, again in the genitive singular, a gift of the Lord. The church is not a work of the world, but that is a gift of the Lord. Number 3, hokurios philasse ten ecclesian haute gar esten he ecclesia autu. Hokurios, the Lord. Philasse, guards or protects. Ten ecclesian, that's the accusative. Ecclesian, so it's the direct object of the verb philasse. Hokurios is nominative, so that's the subject of the verb. The Lord guards or protects the church. Haute, she, gar means therefore. No, that means because. Because haute esten he ecclesia autu. Because she is his church, the church of him, autu, his church. Ginosko ton propheten, I know the prophet. Ton propheten is accusative, the object of the verb ginosko. I know, first person singular. Hutos, he, esti, and eknon is a typing error there. It should be teknon, obviously. Teknon meaning child. To theou, this man, he, is a child of God. Number 5, hutos doulos. This one is a slave. Haute Nesos, this is an island. Tuto Doron, this is a gift. Okay, maybe page 0.7.2.4. A. Ekainen men blepo. Eme du blepe. Ekainen, that one, in the accusative, singular, feminine, men and de. If you see men in the first part of the sentence and de in the second part, then it means there's a soft contrast being made between the two. On the one hand, Ekenen blepo. Blepo is I see. I see that one, that woman, because it's feminine. But eme u blepe, but she does not see me. Eme is the accusative, singular of ego. Blepe, third person singular, he sees or she sees or it sees. U means not. I see that one, I see that woman, but she doesn't see me. B, hutos, hemen elegen. Hutos, this one, this person, a masculine, this man, hemen, dative plural to us, elegen. There's the the augment, so it's a historic tense. It's either aorist or imperfect. In this case, it's imperfect. Of lego. Lego means to speak. This one was speaking. The imperfect has a duration, a durative linear meaning. This one was speaking hemen to us. It's the dative, so it's the indirect object of the verb lego. Number C, ekaino to teknon aposu effuge kai tod idiokes. Ekaino, that's the neuter, that thing. Or if there's a neuter noun like to teknon, teknon is a child, then it's not that thing, but that child. Aposu, apo is a preposition, and here it takes the genitive, and you see su. No, sorry, yeah, the genitive, aposu. Effuge, effuge, that verb is an historic tense because it starts with got the augment. And fuge, effugon is the aorist. Fled, fled away or ran away. Aposu, from you. That child fled from you. Kai tode idiokes. Idiokes. Dioko is to follow or to pursue or to chase. Idiokes is imperfect. It's a historic tense. You chased tode, him. That child fled from you and you chased him. You were chasing him. He fled from you, aorist, and you were chasing him, imperfect. Okay, let's go to the relative pronouns. This is quite complicated. So a relative clause, a relative pronoun connects one clause and another one. So for example, there on 731 on page 134, we read the laws which the prophet has written. So can you see there are two sentences? We read the laws, the prophet has written the laws. So now in Greek, but also in English, you connect it with which. It's one of the ways in which a relative pronoun can work. So, but also the man who is walking there, the children for whom I am bringing the sweets, the man whose car I am washing. So whose, for whom, to whom, the house in which I'm living, etc. Those are relative pronouns. And so in Greek, 733 on page 134, that block 7.3.3, how is the declension? Hos is the accusative, the nominative singular. Hon hu, ho, he, hen, hes, he, ho, ho, hu, ho. The plural, hoi, hus, hon, hois, etc. The same endings that you have in the nouns, like logos and arche and ergon. But now they are used in a relative sense. So let's look at 7.3.4, that example. Example 1, we read the laws which the prophet wrote. Is it okay? Can I move on? Is everyone still with me?
Yeah, Prof, I'm still here, but my connection is very poor today. It comes and go.
Oh, okay. All right, but let's see. On page 135, those examples. Anaginos komen, that means we read, we are reading. Tus nomus, accusative masculine plural, the laws. Hus, ho, prophetes, egrapsen. We are reading the laws which the prophet has written. So that which in English is hus. In Greek, because the prophet wrote them, so they are in the accusative. Then the second one, genos komen ton propheten, we know the prophet. Hos egrapse tus nomus, we know the prophet who wrote the laws. So hos is in the nominative, masculine singular, referring to prophetes or prophetes. And it's in the nominative because he is the one who wrote the laws. He's not an object. He's the subject of that relative clause. Number 3, genos komen ton propheten, we know the prophet, who tus nomus anagenos komen, we know the prophet whose laws we are reading. And number 4, philoi esmen ton anthropon, we are friends of the people to whom, for whom, o prophetes egrapse tus nomus. We are friends. Esmen is from Amy, first person plural, we are. Philoi, friends. This is men speaking, it's not philai, women. Philo esmen, we are friends. Ton anthropon, genitive plural, of the men, of the people. Hois, for whom, that's the dative. The prophet wrote the laws. All right, so that takes quite some getting used to. Point 5, when you're using a preposition, genos komen tus prophetas, we know the prophets. Sun hois estiomen, sun with the dative, meaning with whom, estiomen, we are eating. Number 6, so that's o prophetes, hon, ginoskamen, the prophet whom we know, egrapse tus nomus. Hon is the accusative because he's the object of the knowing. The prophet whom we know wrote the laws. All right, I'm not going to just read all of it. You have to look at all the different ways in which the relative pronoun is used. So let's just look at some examples on 7.3.5. on page 137. Heuron tas biblus has hoi kleptai elabon. Heuron is from heurisco. It's the aorist. It's either first person singular or third person plural. Either I found or they found. What did we find? Tas biblus, that's accusative, so that's the direct object. The books. Has, that's a relative pronoun, and it's in the accusative, feminine plural. Hoi kleptai, the thieves, the robbers. Elabon, from lambano, to take. This is the aorist. They took. We found the books which, or that, the thieves took or stole. We found the books that the thieves, which the thieves stole or took. Timomen, we respect, we honor. Ekenus, tus politas, that's the accusative plural, masculine. Ekenus, tus politas, those citizens. Polites is a citizen. Those, we respect those citizens. Hoi, who, it's a nominative plural, so they the subject of that relative clause. Who, agatha prasusen. Agathon is good. Agathos. Here it used, the adjective is used in a substantive sense as good things. Agatha, neuter plural. Prasusen, they do, or they are doing in a continuous sense. We respect those citizens who practice, who keep on practicing good things. Number C, u fugomen ap ekeinon sun hois menomen. U fugomen, u means not. Fugomen is present tense, fugo, to flee, to run away. Omen means we as first person plural, we are not fleeing. Up ekeinon, apo, preposition with a genitive, meaning away from. Ekeinon, those people. We do not flee from those people. Sun hois, with whom. Menomen, meno is to stay or to live. We do not flee from those with whom we stay. Let me just read the next exercise, just to help you to read the Greek. 7.3.6a. Eman thanomen tus logus tus kalus, and then you must give the right form of the relative pronoun there. O poietes egrapsen. Eman thanomen, we learned. Can you see it starts with an e, with an augment, so it's a historic tense. We were learning, manthano is to learn. Tus logus, tus kalus, the good words, accusative plural, so it's the object of the verb manthano. We were learning the good words, and now in English we say which, or poietes, which the poet Egrapsen wrote. So here it will be hus. The form of hos heho will be hus, because it must be accusative, because it's the object of the writing of the poet. Egnomen, poeten, we know the poet. Poeten is accusative, so it's the object of the word, of the verb ginosko. but ignomen is an aorist. We knew the poet whose words, hoi logoi, athanatoi eisen. Athanatos is eternal. Thanatos is death. So athanatos is an adjective meaning endless or not dying, eternal. We know the poet whose words are eternal, so it will be who, of whom, I think. Yes. Who hoi logoi athanatoi eisen. The words of him are eternal. Himeis pro something o Christos apethanen ou genos kete ten hodon kath os whatever hutos ebe. Himeis you pro meaning on whose behalf or for whom, for Christus apethanen, for whom Christ died. Apethanen is the aorist of apothnesko, meaning to die. You pro hon, pro with a genitive, for whom the Christ died. U genoskete, you don't know hodon, the way, ton hodon, ten hodon, the way, kat hos hutos ebe, the road along which, so that will be kath hen. Kata with the accusative means the way along which. Hutos, that means he. Ebe is the past tense of bino, the aorist of bino, along which he walked. D, hoi kleptai, the thieves, the robbers. Hoi duloi hippos enenkon ephigon. This one I couldn't work out. I didn't have the time. You can try and figure that out. Page 138, possessive pronouns is autos, aute, auto as adjective. My book, your book, etc. So possession in Greek on page 138 can be done in two different ways. But possessive pronouns is one way of doing it. So emos is mine, emon, emu, emo, etc. on that block on page 138. That's for me. Then you is sos, son, su, so, soy, su, son, sois. And then on page 139, it's explained how it's used and how it agrees in case and in gender. And then on page 141, some exercises. We're actually running out of time. So just briefly then, 7.5 is about reflexive and reciprocal pronouns. He washes himself. Myself is emauton, yourself is seauton, and himself or herself is heauton on page 142. And there you can see how they are the declensions. Emauton, emautu, emauto. These can't be in the nominative. It's always the object of an action. When you say, I kick myself, I wash myself, she washes herself, it's only accusative, genitive, or dative. It doesn't occur in the nominative. So all the examples, and the reciprocal on page 143 is a very common in the New Testament, 7.5.2. One another or each other. The Greek word for that is allelus. And obviously that doesn't occur in the singular. When you say one another or each other, there's always more than one person, so it's always in the plural. Love one another, agapate allelus. That's the accusative object of the word love. Love one another. Or allelon of one another, allelois for one another. So there's the examples on page 143 at the bottom. Hoi anthropoi epon pros allelus. The people talked pros with the accusative to one another, to each other. Oik terete allelus. You pity each other. Dora pimpsusen allelois. They will send gifts to each other. So that's the reciprocal or and reflexive pronouns. And then that's the end of the study unit. There's the vocabulary on page 145. All right. It's a whole lot of information on pronouns, personal pronouns, relative pronouns, demonstrative pronouns, and then reflexive and reciprocal pronouns. I think we must just go back to page 22, to the Lord's Prayer. And then we see how what we've learned today about pronouns will help us make better sense of the Lord's Prayer. Page 22. Ms. Matadi, do you want to try? Or Zanelli, are you back? Are you with us now? No. Okay, Matadi, you give it another shot. The Lord's Prayer.
The Lord's Prayer. Pater Harmon or Entoi Oranais Hagastito to Onoma Su
Right.
Eteto Basilea Su
Yeah.
Geneteto Tu Thema Su Os En Onarano Kai
Epi.
Epi Ton Araton Emon Ton Episton Dos Amin Semeron
Yeah.
Kai Epsis
No. Afes. Afes.
Pes Emin Tam Upselimata
Yeah.
Upselimata
That's a f, not a psi. Ofe lemata.
Upselimata
Right.
Emon
Yeah.
Os
Os.
Dos, kai,
Mm,
ene,
mm,
afe, kai men,
yeah.
dois, afe, lateis,
Yeah.
emon,
Yeah.
kai, me, I, oi, eneges,
Ace. Yeah. It's not an O. I see you normally mistake the sigma for an omicron. So you don't see the S. So it's ace enenkes.
eis, enenques,
Yeah.
emas,
Yeah.
eis,
Yeah.
perasmon,
Erasmon. Yeah.
ala,
Mm.
what is that?
That's a row. That's a R. Rusai.
Rusai,
Mm-hmm.
emas,
Mm-hmm.
apoton,
No,
poneroi,
no, not ton. Apotu.
apotu,
Poneru.
poneru.
Yeah. So I see the only ones you still struggle with a little bit is the phi and the psi to make them out.
Yes,
Then
yes.
the thelema in the third line. For genetheto to thelema su.
Yes.
I see you struggle a little bit with the ho, also the hagiastheto. And then hos. Sometimes you say
Yes.
os. So just remember that breathing mark, which way is it aspirated or not? So let me read it again slowly. Pater hemon ho en tois uranois, hagias theto to onoma su, el theto he basileia su, genetheto to thelema su, hos en urano kai epiges. Ton arton hemon ton epiusion, dos hemen semeron, kai aphes hemen ta ophelemata hemon, hos kai hemes aphekamen tois opheletais hemon. Kai me eis enenkes hemas eis perasmon, ala rusai hemas apo tu poneru. Now, let me just point out which are the personal pronouns in here. The first one is hemon, pater hemon. That's the genitive plural of ego, meaning of us, our father. Then agiastheto to onoma su, that's the genitive singular of the second person, personal pronoun su, you. May it be holy, what? To onoma, the name of you, the name of you, your name, su. El theto, may it come, what? He basileia su, the kingdom of you, your kingdom. Genetheto, may it happen, may it be done. What? To thelema, the will, su, of you, your will. So there's hemon is a personal pronoun. Su are three personal pronouns. Then the next, skip one, and then ton arton hemon, the bread of us, our bread. Ton epiusion dos hemen, dos hemen. Hemen is the dative plural of ego, to us, Dos is the imperative, give to us. Give us, semeron, today. And then the next line, kai afes hemen. Hemen again is the dative plural again. To us, forgive us, because afiemi, the verb, takes the dative. Forgive us, cancel us, our debts. Tois opheletais hemon, the debts of us. Hemon is the genitive plural, our debts. Kai me is in een case hemas, that's the accusative plural of ego, meaning us. Do not lead us into the tribulation, into the time of suffering. But rusai hemas, save us, accusative plural again, of the evil, from the evil one or from evil. So in every line except one, there's a personal pronoun. Hemon, su, kar arton hemon, dos hemen, afes hemen, ophelemata hemon, kai hemes, opheletais hemon, hemas, hemas. So the whole prayer you cannot understand without understanding the personal pronouns. And as I was saying to Zanelli the other day, prayer is really where, when we say you, your, and we, us, when we're talking about God, about Him, or about them, but it's you, your name, your world, your kingdom, and us, our sins, our etc., our bread. So when you and us get together, then you've got prayer. When the you is God. And so we need to dwell in these personal pronouns of learning how to say you to God as Father in a deeply respectful and loving way, and how to be this we, this us, this community of faith who pray together. Not my Father in heaven, give me my daily bread, in kind of self-centered way. The prayer that Jesus taught us to pray is a communal prayer. So it's hemon, hemas, hemes, all the way through from top to bottom. Us, our. And then there is a them, as we forgive them who sin, who have, as we have forgiven. So in the third line from the bottom, afe kamen, that is a perfect tense. It's not a aorist or an imperfect. Not as we were forgiving, not as we forgave, but afe kamen, as we have forgiven. And you remember the verbal aspect of the perfect tense is, it's something that happened in the past, but it has enduring consequences in the present. It's actually a present tense. There's a present aspect to it. So we pray for forgiveness, and we say to God, as we have forgiven already those who owe us. So cancel our debts, because Lord, we have forgiven the debts of others. It's on that basis of having forgiven, and it's a state of affairs in the present of having forgiven. On that basis, we pray for the forgiveness of our debts. It has huge theological and spiritual implications, of course. And we should talk about that. And that's why it's important to know Greek. So the Lord's Prayer that we pray from the King James Version, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. It's a wrong translation of the Greek. It's not forgive us as we forgive. Forgive us as we have forgiven those who owe us. And it's a different view on
reconciliation and on restitution, etc. But okay, let's stop there. We're way beyond an hour and a half. Zanele, I hope you are now with us to stop the recording. Next Wednesday, as I said, I'm not going to be available. Alta and I will be going away for a week's break. On the, what will it be? Today is the first. So on the, oh no, hang on.
on the 8th, we'll still be around. Sorry, on the 8th, we can work on the assignment. Brilliant. I skipped a week. On the 8th of September, we can go through the assignment 6. And then, God willing, after the holiday, when I'm back, we can then work on chapter 8 in preparation for the exam. So blessings, everybody. And Zanele, I'll just give him a WhatsApp to make sure he stops the recording. All right, maybe we can just switch on our cameras and just say goodbye to each other.
Thank you, Prof. Good night.
All right, sleep well. Bye, Brother Tabo.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you very much. Good night.
Sleep well. God bless. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Osmatadi.
Yes, Brother Twala.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.